the enigmatic entrepreneur whose words will make you sure. Know, trust, and believe. The master teacher has come to help you succeed. The gem dropper, the truth speaker, the voice in the universe that will bring you to your highest peak. Welcome to the Get High on Motivation Show with Mimi the Motivator, your favorite motivator's favorite motivator.
The time is now. So pick up and put on your crown. Goodbye to yesterday. Welcome to life eternal. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Lovebugs. It is your favorite motivator's favorite motivator. And this is the Get High on Motivation Show. Yeah, I know it's looking like a different background and stuff, but y'all know I be traveling and doing things and going places. All right, so today we are talking about how to heal a relationship or from a breakup or divorce. I've been having a lot of people going through divorces lately that have been reaching out to me. And it is a big thing, and it's okay. And we're going to talk about it today. But first, we're going to have our food for thought, as we always do. If you're a first timer, then guess what? There's some rules around here. First and foremost, you have to meet us here every single week. Same time, same place. Or you can catch the replay. However, the most important rule is that you have to be committed to being 1% better in one area of your life. Just one, okay? Just 1% better in one area of your life. So today it's probably going to be in the relationship department. We always have food for thought. Today it's coming from my tea bag. And it says, in all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. Aristotle says, in all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. What that tells me that I don't care how bad you might think a person is or how evil they might be, there is some good in them. First thing that came to mind, I'm not going to lie to y'all, was a raccoon. Because raccoons are scary looking. They scare me. But I have seen the cutest little raccoon baby that lets me know that even that scary big rat cat looking thing has some marvelousness to it. Just like every situation that comes into our life, it has a silver lining of marvelousness. So think about the people in your life. Think about the experiences in your life and just looking around your home or maybe your office, wherever you might be, listening or watching the show. And find the marvelousness in it because it exists and it's there for us to recognize all the time. But we have to open up our eyes and see it. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. There's something marvelous about you, Lovebug. There's something so marvelous about you that you were willing to show up today for yourself, for us to have this conversation, for us to grow and develop and learn together so we can become more marvelous is what I believe, because we deserve it. Whatever we desire, we deserve. And if you desire to be marvelous and live a marvelous life, then you deserve that, Lovebug. And my goal is to give you the tools, the information, the encouragement, the courage to do it, to make it happen, to start living life on your terms. We don't have to live our life according to anyone else, not to our parents, not to our coworkers, not to our children, not even to the boo. Life is a singular journey. Those are the most powerful words my father ever spoke to me. Life is a singular journey. And in this singular journey, we're going to come across some marvelous people and some marvelous things. And we might even come across some things not so marvelous in these people and in these situations or locations. But still, at the end of the day, in all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. So let's go ahead and jump into today's conversation because I do not want to delay at all. Point blank, period, end of story. I got notes. In case you didn't know, I learned this stuff for the both of us. I figure out what's going on, what people are dealing with, what are they going through, and then I go do my homework. That's my job, is to do some research and figure out what kind of information do we need so we can transform our lives and transform the lives of the people around us, to transform our experiences, to transform our relationships. And today, that's really what the conversation is about. It's transforming our relationships, specifically our romantic relationships. But a relationship is a relationship, and how you do one thing or how you do one relationship is typically how you treat the rest of the relationships in your life. So whether it's a personal relationship or a professional relationship, it doesn't matter. So let's dig right on in. So I read a couple of articles per my usual, and there were two articles that stood out to me the most that I'm going to share with you today. One is from the Open Magazine, and the other one is from Psychology Today. I love them. But did you know, just some statistics, that 41% of first marriages and 60% of second marriages end in divorce? So know that divorce is a possibility no matter what relationship you're in. That's why I love when Abraham Hicks says, I like you right now. Let's see how far this goes. Because sometimes the relationship goes and you find out you really don't like this person. And that's okay too. But what happens to relationships? Why do they end up being broken? Why do they end up needing healing? Why do we end up needing healing? Well, first and foremost, we just got everyday life going on. Everybody has everyday life going on. And every day there's something else that is going to come into your awareness or come into your experience that may challenge you. We didn't come to just be from mountaintop to mountaintop. We have to go through the valley sometimes and really cultivate the value that is there, lying there for us, waiting for us, providing us an opportunity to grow, develop, and become a bigger, better person, and to get to our desired state. The other thing that happens is, and this is probably the most common, is mismatched expectations. Yes, people's expectations don't line up with their partner's expectations. Very often, people don't even sit down to talk about what the expectations are, what I'm expecting of you, and what you can expect from me. Now, we know expectations bring disappointment, but there can be some standards. There can be some regulatory rules because this is a partnership. When you're dating someone, it is a partnership just like any other partnership, like if it was a business partnership. How can two walk together unless they touch and agree? And if you have decided to touch and agree with somebody, you might want to agree on some expectations. You might have to compromise maybe some of your expectations because, like I said, expectation breeds disappointment. But I'd highly encourage you not to adjust your standards unless you're going to raise them. But never lower your standards trying to be in a relationship. But we're not going to go there yet. The third thing that really hurts relationships is this thing that Dr. Sue Johnson, and this is what I got from the Oprah magazine. The name of the article was The Greatest Love of All. And she calls them attachment injuries. Attachment injuries. This resonated with me so hard, and I'm hoping that maybe it will speak to you as well. So what is an attachment injury? An attachment injury is the way in which we fail to hold or comfort each other in a time of need, in the key moments of need. So if somebody's really going through something, and they may not be their normal self, they may not be their high vibrating self, they may not be their emotionally fit self, they may not even be practicing emotional intelligence at the moment because of this attachment injury. When people really need us, sometimes it doesn't look like it. So we have to be aware and look for the signs. So talking about awareness and looking for signs, I want to give you 4 steps that will help us heal our relationships if we're in a current relationship, especially. Whether it's new or old, all of this stuff applies. Because now that we know what's really going on, that there is unmet expectations because they're probably mismatched and not in alignment, or unparalleled expectations. That's a better word, unparalleled expectations. There's just daily factors. You got family life, you got professional life. If you're an entrepreneur, you got that. And that's a whole nother bag of tricks to deal with. That if you are dating a 9-to-5, they have no clue of. 9-to-5ers often think that an entrepreneur has control of their schedule and can do what they want when they want it. That is so opposite from the truth. And with that, they expect that their partner can probably just show up and be wherever they want. I used to date a guy that when he was on his off day, he thought I was supposed to be on my off day too. No, it doesn't work like that. Unmet or mismatched expectations. So our 4 steps on how we can start healing our relationships, because it may be a process. And don't think that just because you start doing these things today that your relationship is going to be better tomorrow. Now, yes, it'll be 1% better because that's what we're striving for, but don't expect an overnight success. Overnight successes take 5 to 10 years. So let's work on baby steps towards that relationship success. Step one, HEAL. So step one is the H, which means hear. And you can look at it as hearing through your ears or being here, being present. Either word will work because you really need to be present and be listening to your partner and listening with your whole body, listening to understand. And what I mean by listening with your whole body, very often we are not listening with our whole body. We think we're just listening with our ears. We need to listen with our ears. We need to listen with our eyes. We need to listen with our heart open. We need to listen with our compassion. We need to listen with our empathy. We need to just listen to understand, to comprehend what our partner is saying. Not listening to respond, to rebut, preparing your answers, getting ready to cut them off. Because if you cut them off, you definitely were not listening. That is a clear indicator that you weren't listening. If you cut somebody off, you just heard the part you wanted to hear and then you moved on from there. You read the part of the text that you wanted to read and you moved on from there. We have to be here and we have to hear what our partner is saying. Being present eliminates anxiety. Being present eliminates the depression. It eliminates distraction because you are solely being focused on the person that you are talking to, communicating with, not talking to. We want to communicate with someone because very often we talk to or we talk at someone, and that never works. So the next thing, the E, is for empathize. You don't have to be an empath to empathize. You don't have to be a woman to empathize. We all have some empathy. We have some empathy bones in our body. They might not be big bones, and that's okay, but focus on that little baby bone that you have of empathy and try to grow it. When we empathize, we are allowing someone else's experience to affect us. We feel their pain. We feel their hurt. We're not trying to fix it and give them advice, because usually that's the first thing. Somebody expresses a hurt or a complaint, and your boo, you don't want your boo to be hurting. You don't want your boo to be sad. You don't want your boo to be challenged. So you immediately get to work in your mind on, how do I fix this? How do I help them out? What advice can I give them? The bad part of that, good or bad, I don't really like those words, but the unfortunate part of us providing that solution and advice is that it comes off as judgmental. If you're already in a hurt space and now somebody is judging you, what would that really make you feel like? Would it make you feel safe to continue the conversation? Would it make you feel safe to want to come back and say something again when something is bothering you? It's important that we create a safe space for our partners. And part of that is being empathetic. Feel their hurt, even if you don't understand it, because you don't live in their world completely. Feel their hurt. Make an attempt. Make a very solid, genuine, authentic attempt to connect with the emotions and feelings that they're having at the moment. To step outside of yourself and step into their space. Step into their aura. Step into their awareness and experience. It's unfortunate that in relationships, a lot of times that romance and authenticity don't go together. And I really think that's another major issue that we probably should have discussed, is that we don't feel comfortable or safe being our authentic selves. But when we encounter somebody that is empathetic, who is open and willing to hear us and be here, it makes us feel okay in expressing how we really feel. How would that feel to you if your partner could feel safe and really expressing what they're thinking, what they're feeling in a way that you all can maybe manage it together or approach it together? Or if you had that safe space where you could talk about what was important to you and how it felt, and your person really heard you, really felt you, and you knew it. And you knew this because of how they're responding to you. Next on my list is act. The A is for act. HEAL. The A is for act. You want to take action to address their concerns. You want to provide some type of evidence that you really heard them and that you really are concerned. You really felt what they were feeling, and you're going to do something to change what just took place. And it ain't something that happens immediately sometimes. It might be the next day when you wash the dishes. because you are maybe tired of hearing your boo complain, like, I need help in the kitchen. So you go in there and wash the dishes and prepare the kitchen for your partner to come in and prepare a meal for you. You literally can say, now I done cleaned up the kitchen. Now get your butt in there and make me a good meal. Wouldn't that feel so much better? How we respond to things can create a whole different something. So we'll move on to that next. Let's get through this heal. So the next thing is love. Not just any kind of love, not like, oh, I love you. But we need agape, unconditional love to be given, to be received and felt. That also contributes to that safe space. Unconditional love is not contingent on your partner's actions. If you are using your partner's actions to dictate how much you love them today, how much you decide to act lovingly to them today, how much you decide to speak lovingly to them today, it's a game changer. We cannot base how we treat somebody on their behavior, because then at that point we are reacting and we're not responding. We're not in the seat of control. We are not being intrinsically motivated. We're being extrinsically motivated. Treat people how you are and not how they're acting, because it might just be their little boy or little girl person inside of them acting out, really searching and begging for attention that they felt has not been there. And that's okay. We just got to constantly and consistently make sure that we are expressing this unconditional love and creating that space where people can feel it. It can't be something that we just say, oh, I love you and I love you unconditionally no matter what you do, because we know you lying. Because as soon as I do something that offends you, then you're going to start acting crazy towards me. You might cuss me out. You might go silent on me and shut down. And there are so many ways that people respond to things. But the 4 steps that we can immediately start taking today in our relationships in these coming days, coming weeks, is to H, hear and be here. E, empathize. A, action, take some action to let your partner know that the expressed concerns that they just gave you do matter to you and you're going to do something about it. Don't say it, do it. And then L for love. Love them unconditionally. Create a space for unconditional love for both you and your partner. So the other thing that I discovered in my YouTube search was about the chain reactions that we can create. The trash can thing is what came to mind. So for example, if your boo's only job in the kitchen or in the house is to take out the trash and it never seems to happen, you're always like, why is that happening? You know, your girl is always like, why didn't you take out the trash? Did you take out the trash yet? Instead of you getting an attitude and being like, no, I ain't take out the trash, I'm tired, or making up whatever kind of excuses, what if you said, nope, I was waiting on you because you're stronger than I am? That would change the game and laugh. And then go take out the trash. And then tell Boo Nagel, I'm get in the kitchen and fix me something to eat. That would feel different. It would set off a whole different chain reaction. If your woman came in and put them hands on the hips before she even said anything, you say, look, before you even ask me, no, I did not take out the trash. And then if she says, well, why? Say, because I had one more thing to put in it. And she's going to say, what? Say you. And grab her and act like you're going to throw in a trash can. It will create a new positive, emotional, mental chain reaction in regards to this one specific thing. There's always tactics that we can take to make our relationships go a little smoother. And don't put it on the other person. Don't make it your boo's responsibility to change the relationship, to heal the relationship. Don't be like, well, you know, I listened to Mimi the Motivator today. You need to listen to it too because she showed us how we can heal our relationships. Don't do me like that, y'all. Don't do it to me. But be okay with starting to act on these and set the example in such a way that they may start following suit. So what if you are now out of the relationship, you're going through the divorce, or you just got divorced? How do we handle that? Well, how we handle that is a few things. First and foremost, take the time to grieve. There is a mourning process that goes on when you break up with someone. Allow yourself to go through the emotions and feel the emotions. Don't ignore them. Don't keep on trying to walk around like everything is okay. I'm just fine. No. If you need to go to your room and cry in the pillow, if you need to go outside and holler to the world and to the universe, do what you need to do, but allow yourself to feel the emotions of what you're going through. Because apparently, if you all were together at some point in time, you liked each other. And you may even be still thinking about the times when you liked each other, which that is a good thing to do when if you're currently in a relationship with someone. It always changes the game. Look at some old pictures where y'all went on some vacations, on some trips, had some good times. Look at some old text messages that really feel good. Don't do that, because you might see the ones that don't feel so good. Look at the pictures, the good pictures of the good times, or the pictures that are in your mind. They don't have to be in your phone or on Facebook. Think about some memories and think about what it is that originally attracted you to this person. Now let's get back on track. For the relationship is over, we're trying to heal through this thing because we don't want to take this baggage into our next relationship. Period. If you still dealing with the stuff, you're going to take the stuff with you into the new relationship. It's a new relationship. You still the same you. And you're going to take your emotional baggage with you. The next thing we can do is make a list. Make 2 lists. Make a list for you and make a list for your future partner, your manifested partner. Write down all the aspects that are good and great and fabulous about you. Everything that you like about yourself in every aspect. We're not being conceited. We are being encouraging to ourselves. So write out this list of every single thing you can think of. Even if it's, I know how to put some shoes with an outfit. Put it on there. I really know how to grill some ribs to perfection. Put it on there. And then make a list of your manifested partner. What aspects are you looking for in this partner? What type of experiences would you like to experience from this partner? What personality aspects are important? What physical attributes? And I'm not talking about the look, but the physical experiences. Do you want somebody who loves hiking or who loves going to the beach or loves to travel in general? Who's okay with staying at home with you and just cuddling up and watching Netflix? Write these things on your list, because the more clearly defined this list is more clearly defined the experience will become. Next thing, and this is the hard one, please cut off communication with your ex. I'm sorry, my dad, if you're watching. So my dad recently went through a divorce, and I was so proud of him because he has been so much happier, so much healthier since he has gone through this divorce. But he was still continually communicating with his ex-wife, which is putting him in a danger zone, whether he realizes it or not. It makes it really easy to get sucked back into the thing that you just escaped out of. If you wanted to be there, then you would have been there. If you wanted to be in the relationship, more than likely you would still be there unless the other person doesn't want to be there. Because at the moment, any one person in a couple wants out, then the relationship is over. Period. The other thing when we have going through a breakup or a divorce is create a support system of your family and your friends. If you have to go to a virtual space, if you have to go on Clubhouse and find the rooms that's talking about divorce, do what you have to do. But find people who will support you in this portion of your journey, in this phase of the season. The next thing we need to do is we need to not judge ourselves or our healing process. Don't beat you up. You did what you did. You did not do some things that you did not do. You said what you said, and there's some things you forgot to say or failed to say. And know that was needed to be said. And all of that's okay because you're doing just fine. And you have an opportunity to start doing something different right here, right now. You prepare for your relationship when you're by yourself by loving yourself. We set the example of how someone else is going to love us. Fall in love with yourself first. Take yourself on some dates. Send yourself some love notes. You're worthy of it. Show you how you desire to be loved, so that way when someone shows up to match that vibration, you easily recognize them. What else do we need to do? We need to just simply just love ourselves. Do some healing work. Do some grounding work. Do some chakra, heart chakra work. Because I'm sure either your heart chakra is either underactive or overactive. Either way it goes, it's time for us to get in alignment with our love factor. It's time for us to do some forgiving, because forgiving will heal your heart chakra. Releasing suppressed emotions and ideas that have just been sitting there, growing, festering inside your heart space. We have the power to heal our relationships, love bugs. We have the power to change things right here, right now. If you're in a current relationship, even if you just broke up, you are now in position to create a new relationship by starting with yourself. The article, The Greatest Love of All, that I read in the Oprah magazine was really about having that relationship with yourself. So that way you can have better relationships with the people around you. Because whether you're in a romantic relationship or a platonic relationship, all these things apply. Our best friends need the same space. Our best friends need us to hear them and to be here. Our best friends need us to take the empathetic role when we're telling our stories. We need our best friends to take actions and act like what I just said to you means and matters. Because when we don't take action, we are telling the person that they maybe are undervalued, and we can make them feel disrespected. And we don't want to do that. We have an opportunity to create whatever life, whatever love life, whatever relationship we desire. But we have to be intentional about it. Relationships are like an ever-changing complex dance, and there's always a new move being added. But you can be a dance machine out here, whether you got the rhythm or not. So consider, how can you be 1% better today in your relationships, whether it's a current relationship or preparing for a future one? There's some questions that I want to give you for you to ask yourself and to answer yourself. Don't take these questions and go try to ask your boo. This is for you. This is for us. 1, are you acting according to your values, your needs, and your preferences? Or are you simply acting in a way to please others, to get rewards, or to just avoid the negative consequences? My second question is, are you striving for openness and honesty in your intimate relationships, with the goal of the people in these relationships knowing exactly who you truly are? You know, when we get in relationships, we always want to put our best first, our best self forth. And we want to look for the best in other people. And then after we've been dating them for a while, then that kind of stuff falls away and we start looking like, what's really wrong with you? So I can really check you out. But we need to be sure that we are striving to be authentic in our relationships, no matter what. Because people need to know who is the real person that they're getting involved with. Our people need to know what is the good, the bad, and the ugly about us. A lot of us want to hide our ugly because we think it might chase the person away. But what you want to do, wait till you get married and then let the real you show up, and then it sends them completely out the door because they're like, wait a minute, this is not the person I signed up for. Uh-oh. Time zone problems, y'all. Another question, do you have self-awareness? Are you really aware of how you are, who you are, and how you operate? Do you have self-acceptance? Because if you don't accept yourself, you're going to feel unaccepted by the people in your life. You're going to notice when they abandon you, quote unquote, or neglect you emotionally, physically, mentally. And the last and most important question is, what is it that you're really afraid of? I believe that a lot of times relationships go south because people are operating out of fear. What are you really afraid of that's not allowing you to be fully encapsulated into your relationship? What are you really afraid of when you're not being your authentic, true self and not wanting them to know about your bad and your ugly? What are you really afraid of if you express what it is that you truly desire out of this relationship? What are you really afraid of? And remember that fear is false evidence appearing real. I'm Mimi the Motivator. Your favorite motivator's favorite motivator. We're out of time. We're overtime. I love y'all. Be happy. Be healthy. But most importantly, baby, be you.